If you're done criticizing Governor Vajubhai Valla and his handling of the Karnataka election results, let me remind you of something. This isn't the first time that a governor of a state has acted in a partisan and biased manner, and no way will it be the last. For more than half a century, the Congress party has done exactly what they're opposing the BJP for doing today. So my fellow Indians, on this issue of partisan governors, I have a question. Why should governors have the ability to act in a partisan fashion and serve the agendas of parties they belong to or are closer to? To understand that, let's go flashback mode. Here's what happened in 1952 after independent India's first election. In the 375-member Madras Assembly, the motley coalition of the United Front, led by T. Prakasham, got 166 seats. It included Prakasham's Kisan Mazdoor Praja Party, the Communist Party of India, Tamil Nadu Toilers Party, among others. The Congress got 152 seats. That's 14 seats fewer than the coalition. But what did the governor of Madras do? The governor rejected Prakasham's claim and called C. Rajagopalachari from the Congress to form the government, who wasn't even an MLA. Oh, the governor made sure to first nominate him to the Legislative Council or the upper house. The coalition fell apart and a Congress government was formed. How convenient, isn't it? It's been 66 years since. Unfortunately for India, very little has changed. The same story has repeated itself year after year, election after election. And here's why. Governors at the end of the day are political appointees, explicitly political appointees. A governor is appointed by the President of India, but the President acts on the advice of the Council of Ministers at the centre as per Article 74 of the Constitution. So in essence, the governor is chosen by the government of the day. So can they really even be expected to be impartial in such situations? Look at Governor Vajubhai Valla, for example. He's a lifelong member of the RSS, former Gujarat BJP chief, Modi's finance minister in Gujarat for a decade, and the man who vacated his assembly seat for Modi to become chief minister in 2001. Now, do you really think that in a situation where the law of the land gives him the discretion to choose which party or coalition to invite to form the government, you really think he's going to go against the BJP and choose the Congress JDS instead? So how did we land upon this system of governors in the first place? Well, it's an import from the days of the British Raj. But here's the interesting bit. Almost immediately after winning several provincial elections in 1937, the Congress started protesting against this system of powerful governors sitting on top of democratically elected governments. So you'd expect that if the Congress was protesting against governors having so much power, they would change that after India won independence, right? Wrong. Freedom in 1947 and a spectacular U-turn by the Congress. The post of the governor was retained with its unusually excessive powers. Independent India was creating an office specifically as a tool available for misuse by the central government. As far back as the Constituent Assembly debates, there is opposition to this. Biswanath Das, a member of the Constituent Assembly, had argued, and I quote, "In the provinces, you are going to have democracy from toe to neck and autocracy at the head," unquote. Das argued that the governor was obviously going to interfere in the political processes, and that wasn't cool. But Das lost the argument. The result? In 2017, in Goa and Manipur, the governor calls the coalition and not the single largest party to form government. The same in Meghalaya in 2018. But in Karnataka, the governor does the exact opposite. Why? Because he can. So what's the solution? Can we ever expect Parliament to put in place legislation that dictates a standard operating procedure in such situations? Unlikely. And that's despite the Sarkaria Commission in 1988 and the Punchi Commission in 2010 specifically directing that guidelines are needed for the discretionary power of governors. So where else can we look? The Supreme Court, of course. This time, they reduced the time given before the floor test. But given that this phrase, "at the governor's discretion," has been misused for 66 years running, is it time for the Supreme Court to put a fix on that phrase too? Or will the final outcome of democratic elections continue to be determined by governors and their unquestioned discretions?